Alright gents, we're back with another video. Today we're going to talk about how I got insanely rich in PoE 2 without the Val Temple, which was the easiest way to make money in this league. It wasn't for me. I didn't want to go through all the BS of setting it up. I did get to a certain point. I will show you. And I will also show you my currency tab. So we'll start with the currency. This is where I'm at right now. It's end of league. You know, I made a decent amount of money, as you can see. Here's my temple. This is about as far as I got. Yeah, it was just like not something I wanted to engage with. Didn't really like how the system worked. That's about it. We can talk about that in another video. Not really important for now. So what we're going to talk about in today's video is what to do early league, how to snowball your money from the early league into the late game. It's very important. It's a theme you're going to see throughout the video because it really does help. We're going to talk about some crafting. Now, I am no X the Farmer X or Spicy Sushi, but I did do some crafts. I'll explain the ones that I did, maybe show some examples, and why it's important. We're going to talk about finding good bases, why that helps you make a lot of money as well. Vaaling Uniques, very good way to make money. Anomaly Maps and Cleansed Maps, I'll tell you what I do for them. You've probably seen that in other videos. And then I have another strategy that I use personally. I haven't seen it in anybody else's video. I'll explain that. You're welcome to try it in the new league. You could probably implement it for a lot of different things, not just the one thing I used it for. So let's start here. Early league. Parking your money early is very important. So what do I mean by parking your money early? You're going to be getting mostly exalts when you're going through the campaign. You will get some chaos and things like that. Early on, usually these are pretty much one-to-one. Eventually, chaos will always outperform. It just has a bigger sink than exalts in the end game. But what I would do, and what I did do, is at the end of every game session, before I went to bed or before I was done playing for the night, always try to trade up to something you think will actually have more value or maybe rise overnight. So a lot of leagues I would do annuls. Last league, obviously, that wasn't a good bet because annuls were dropping like candy in the temple, like this league that just passed. But you want to park your money anywhere you can. So Divines is usually a good bet, but it's like kind of just super safe. Fracturing Orbs. Park it in annulments, like I said, can be good. If you're lucky enough to get some of these early game, like an Omen of Light, hold on to that, trade up to that. Even these guys perform pretty good early, like Perfect Jeweler's Orbs and Graders, but like that is volatile, I will say, and they will go down pretty quickly as people get farther into the game, right? But any way you can, like I would always try to like trade up for at least a Divine out of my Exalts if I can, or just put it somewhere that like you think has other value. Omens would be great if you could get Omens. These are gone, unfortunately, RIP. Those won't be in the next patch, but yeah, just find ways that you can park your money overnight so that your exalts don't depreciate over time, because that's what happens, right? Is your exalted orb will just continuously go down in most leagues, and you'll just get poor over time if you keep your exalts there. Another thing I want you guys to be aware of is trying to find holes in the market. So what do I mean when I say holes in the market? For example, this past league, when everyone started doing Temple because it became super popular and was printing Divines, it left tons of holes in the market because people weren't mapping anymore. They weren't doing trials anymore. Things like Fracturing Orbs, Omens of Light, Jawbones, the linear support gems, they all went through the roof because people didn't want to stop doing the Temple, so they would just pay a premium for all these other items. Even right now, like Rocky Out's Flow is still trading for 319 Divines, you know what I mean? And there's a bunch of these that are really good. We'll talk about later in the video, but you got to try to do that as well, right? So if Fubcam releases a video that says, hey, Abyss is OP, here's how you run it, yeah, you can. I'm not saying you can't do that, but that might leave gaps in other places because so many players are going to go and try to do that strat. The same way if like Farmer releases a crafting video on like, okay, here's how you craft chess pieces in the new patch, you can try. The cost of the items he's using are going to go through the roof and your return's not going to be good. And he'll tell you that himself, right? So you kind of have to try to like find your own niche markets if you can. You have to think outside the box a little bit. That's really helped me personally. Every league I've gotten better at it. It's just finding other things players aren't doing to make yourself more money. Even Essences ended up being super good at a certain point because, again, nobody was mapping and they still wanted to craft. Or you still had people in the game that were trying to craft, but there wasn't a supply for essences. So like even things like this, I made a decent amount of money off of, even though they're like super common and shouldn't really be that profitable for most leagues, right? So other than that, let's talk about the trials too. I get it, they're not for everyone, but these things are money makers. And again, especially in the early league, like There's so many ways to make money off the trials. Like, let's talk about Sekimus first. First of all, people do trial carries. I've never personally been into that, but if you have a strong build, you're ahead of the game. You can charge divines. Sometimes it's usually a divine or two at the start to like get somebody through the trial of ascendancies, because it's just hard for new players to do. They also drop a ton of jewels. Eventually the market becomes flooded, but again, early on in the market, like if you get a really good jewel or two that you're not going to use, you can definitely sell those for a good price. The unique jewels are super popular, both the Adorned and Against the Darkness. Against the Darkness has always been super strong, super valuable. The +4 extra lightning and +4 extra cold is the most popular. People love that diamond. It's essential to so many builds. The Adorned is super good now. I sold my first one. You guys are going to be mad at me. I ran that boss once this last week and I dropped it the first time. I couldn't believe it. Anyways, so luck or dog, I guess. But yeah, trials are really good. The soul cores early on are really good. They do print you money when you first start the game. Again, I know trials aren't the most fun thing in the world, but if you run them and just play the market, you will be able to make a decent amount of money there and snowball into your later league. Another strategy that I'm not so into but exists is spread trading and flipping. So obviously if you find items for cheap and you can flip them, maybe you know what a good unique boot is, and you know that you can easily get more money for it. You can kind of snipe them off the market. That's a little bit harder because people literally run bots for this. Even like trying to sell my Adorned I dropped was hard because people were just like constantly controlling the market and undercutting, and they had people who just like, I don't know if they were bots or not, but just would instantly reprice that jewel if I lowered my price or if somebody else did. It was kind of crazy. But even this, for example, right? Like this is going to cost you a bunch of gold, but like you could essentially try to buy one of these Rakia's Flow for 149 divines would be the highest bid on the market. And then you could try to sell it back for 324 or 323. And you're going to make a ton of divs, right? Like, just think about that for a second. Like, I could just place an order right now. Let's just do it. Let's just do it live. So, again, if I want to buy it right now, 324. But the highest bid, someone's saying, hey, I'll pay 248. If I go 250 or 249, let's go 250. Somebody eventually probably will sell me this for this price. And then if I want, I can just turn it around and sell it probably for like 320, right? So again, I didn't personally do this a lot. I've done it a lot. There you go. See, look, someone just outbid me. See how it goes? It went to 251 now. So people will do this, right? It's kind of crazy. Again, it's a way to make money. It's going to cost you a bunch of gold if you're sitting on a bunch of gold. A lot of people will set spread trades up before they go to bed and then wake up in the morning and do it again, set it before they go to work or whatever, and you just kind of make currency as you're offline, right? Okay, let's move on. So crafting. Again, I'm not a wizard. I'll show you some of the crafts I did. I have some pictures I'll throw on the screen, but I also have some in-game. I find rings for me to be pretty easy. This is my ring craft. Now, to be honest, this is kind of underpriced, but again, you got to know where you're at in the league. Because we're in late league, that lightning resist, even though it's a 40 rule, the fact that it's tier 2, this is like the plague to players right now. Okay, so like I can't sell this. And this ring's insane. I sold one that was very similar, but it was all T1. It sold for like 2,800 divs, right? Leech, okay, maybe it's a little bit niche. I could probably omen that for something else. If it wasn't late league, I probably would try. But because I don't need the money, there's a new league in 7 days, like why would I even do that, right? But yeah, so ring crafts I find to be pretty easy. I can make another video on exactly how I did that, but you're obviously going to want to fracture lightning. It's the hardest. I normally would divine it first. I dived the lightning roll that I got on this ring till I got to 71. And then I went for the fracture, hit the fracture, and from there I crafted out the rest of the ring. The ring has 2 sides. Every item has 2 sides, prefix and suffix. So I did the prefix side first. Once I had the T1s I wanted on the top, it was a matter of rolling the suffixes, and some of them, it gets expensive, right? Sometimes it's RNG, but I used, which one was it? I think this omen? No, this omen. So I can only remove a suffix. So if I didn't hit the suffix I wanted, I would use this to remove it, and then I would try again, right? And you use the catalyst. I don't know if you're familiar with ring crafts. This isn't like a deep guide. You can use these catalysts to improve your chances of getting the mods you want. So you can put like 40 quality on a ring with attack modifier, And then there's an omen here. Catalyzing Exaltation. You use this omen, you turn this omen on when you go to slam it, and it gives you a higher chance of getting that mod, or a mod with that tag on it. Again, not a deep crafting video, but just a quick overview of how I kind of ring craft. I'll do a full guide later on what I did. Another one I did was boots. I don't have many left. Do I have any in here? Some. These are all terrible. These are misses, but I would just buy blue bases of boots that had 35% movement speed and one other mod that I thought was good, usually a resistance, like that 44 fire res there. This one has 43 lightning. I have a couple more. There's a bunch in here, right? And my strategy, and again, I don't think that this is the best way. This is just the way that I did it. Is I would, again, I would use the omens, right? So I would use this omen. Only adds prefix, okay? I would use the double down, 2 random mods, perfect exalt, and then if I had a base, which I don't think I have any, I don't think I have any. Let's just pretend this is a fresh base that had movement speed and a lightning res on it. I would activate these omens, I would slam it with this, I would get my 2 prefixes, and I would just pray for high ES on both. Because once you get the high ES on both, it's the most important. The chances of you selling that is going to be way better. And you can desecrate the last mod on the bottom. You already have 1 perfect res. Even your misses, if you get a high ES base, are going to sell really well. And you're going to make a lot of money. Way more money than you spent to craft it. And it's just kind of like you just... A lot of crafts are like that, right? Like you're going to have to buy 10 boots, 10 chest piece, 10 gloves, miss 9 of them. Sell them for what you can, and then the one that you hit is going to make you a lot of money too, right? So it's kind of like that's how you go about crafting, or from my understanding, that's the way that I've been able to do it. So yeah, that's another really good way to make money. Again, it's a little bit more in depth, but I do think crafting is huge, and you should learn how to do it if you want to be successful in the market in this game, because it's just super strong. Like the strongest way to make money, to be honest. If I was a Giga crafter, I'd have like way more gear, way more money than I do now. Another thing that kind of like falls right into this is slamming good bases. I have another example for sale that never sold, but this right here. So I think this dropped with just like +5 projectiles, which is insane. And then I just slammed on the T1%. Again, it's late league, so, and it's not really, if it was just percent fizz, not percent fizz and accuracy there, it probably would have sold. But yeah, these are crazy, dude. You can make a lot of money off these. You got to know what bases to get. So maybe you have to start with, like, if you know your build. I play a lot of Ranger. I played a little bit of Monk. But I know what people want for Rangers. I know this is a great base. And I just use that to my advantage. Sekima Sandals is another good example. Awesome base. You get 35 movement speed on this. It's already worth something. You slam a res on it. It's worth more. If you're not comfortable crafting it yourself, then you just you can sell the blue base for a lot of money, right? So blue bases are huge. Exceptional bases are huge too, a little bit harder to get, but if you get an exceptional base, which is like a white that has 3 sockets, or yeah, that's really what you're looking for, to be honest. They're worth a lot of money too. So that's another good way. Vaaling Uniques. So I use, I think it's called Scythia's Spear, if I'm remembering correctly.
It's you.
I had like tabs full of these. These are all misses. I sold a fuck ton of these. And what I was doing is buying the base. Sometimes, mostly to be honest, I was buying bases that had 2 sockets. Maybe cost me 7 divs. And I was corrupting them. And then double corrupting them with the new mechanic. And trying to hit increased physical percent, stuff like that. I'll put some examples on screen. I have a video of like the current market that explains it a little better. So yeah, find uniques that you think are really good. I just dropped one of these. Looked it up and was like, oh man, I could probably sell some of these, right? So like there's other ones that are always good, like the tribal mascot nerf, but that one was really good to try to use. Headhunter. A lot of people do it with ingenuities, like these guys here that I'm wearing. You know what I mean? Just valing them. I have a 34 roll on this, as you can see, which is higher than the max roll. You're gonna make a lot of money doing that too. So yeah, Vaaling Uniques is always a good currency. I would definitely try to find at least 1 or 2 to try every league, and you'll be able to make money off that. You're not going to hit all of them, but again, it's like war of attrition, right? The ones that you do hit are going to pay for the ones that you miss on, and then you're just trying to get whatever you can for the ones that you missed on. Anomaly maps, and cleansed. So cleansed maps are good just because they can only drop currency. They can't, like, the monsters in them can't drop items. So it's just another way to like increase your chance of exalts and divines and chaos orbs, things like that, annulments. So that's cool. There's also certain ones that have a tag on them that says the Fuhrer or something like that, which is just a special boss that guarantees you a fracturing orb. I'm sure you've heard of this tech already. So what you do when you have one of those maps is you get a Vision of Paradise, I believe they're called. This guy here. And you run the map twice, you're going to get 2 guaranteed fracturing orbs, which is super powerful. These are, crafters love these. They're always going to be valuable to some degree. So that's a super easy way to make money. You can also do that with the Anomaly Maps. I don't know if I can find one here for you. So this one, the Mansion in the Mist, I didn't run this one too much because I didn't really want to search for this gem. I thought the other ones were more valuable. But this one drops a very popular linear support. Can't remember the name of it off the top of my head, but it's in a FUD gun build. You know how that works. They're red like this, and they usually have a mechanic. They all do actually have a mechanic where like you have to run a bunch of maps around them to unlock this map. I can't just run this yet. See this one with this blue stuff circling it? I'm going to have to run these first before I can unlock this map. And the good thing about these maps is you don't have to juice them at all. You can just do what I said. You place the tablet that lets you run it twice in, the visions. Like it's like, I think the max, it says right there, tier 6 or higher. I always still did it on a tier 15 map, but you don't have to put your other tablets in. You don't have to crazy juice it. Your waystone doesn't have to be insane. You can leave yourself a couple revives. So in case you die, it doesn't matter. You'll still be able to fight that boss and beat it and get your chance. Every single one of these has a 1 in 6, the community seems to think, 1 in 6 drop rate to get the linear support. And that doesn't matter no matter what you do. If you juice it, it's still 1 in 6. If you don't juice it, it's still 1 in 6. So again, super powerful, super good way to make early money or just get the gems you need to make your build better. I highly suggest doing this. I did it all league, but again, early in, it's going to be really strong because you're just going to be able to print these, well, not print, but you're going to be able to get a good chance of getting these linear supports that people are looking for. It is a very popular strat now, but I still think it's worth recommending because, again, it's just, these are important. A lot of builds rely on these, and it's just a super good way to make some extra currency. Okay, other than that, I'm going to tell you another way that I made a lot of money. Before that, I'll use my last main strat, Pinnacle Bosses. Pinnacle Bosses are insane. Breach Boss is insane. I farmed him for an insane amount of currency. The Breach Boss in specific drops, again, certain support gems you can't get anywhere else. Let's see where the prices are at. They probably won't be as high. This was the most expensive one before. Yeah, see? I mean, you drop one of these, that's insane. This will pay for all your runs easily, right? You drop one of these from Zest. This one's really good too. I use this one. 200, still pretty damn good. This one's usually alright. Yeah, 240 for Tulis. And then this one's like terrible. Oh, even that, 74. Not bad, right? So these all drop from Zest. You can only get them from him. Again, it is a pretty rare drop, but it's just another incentive to run the boss. Let's say you do 20 runs. Your chances of getting something like this is decent, I would say. Now, the way that I kind of like abused this mechanic is I ran insane rarity. So as you'll be able to see here, I'll show you. Sorry. Advanced info, that's it. My rarity is 238%. So when I'm running, like this is because I've been running Pinnacles, right? So I'm just trying to get as much out of the boss as I can. This boss also drops tons of catalysts, and I've noticed that the higher my rarity went, the more of the good ones I got. So that alone was like, okay, I'm going to do a rarity build and just get it as high as I can without sacrificing too much damage. And I print it using this method. This also drops from the boss, Choir of the Storm Jade Amulet. That top line there that grants the Scale Lightning Bolt, level 18. 18 is not good. 90% of the ones I was dropping were not 19, which sell for like 10 divs usually. Again, in the new league, this is going to be completely different, but just for context for this league. And the 20s are insane. I dropped so many 20s, and the 20s sell for like, I'm telling you, I was selling them for as much as like 550 divs to as low as like 380. But it's just constant currency. It's just really good. People like them. If you don't corrupt them, you just sell them like that. you make a lot of money. And this only drops from Zest, or as far as I know, it only drops from Zest. So I made a ton of money off of Zest. Again, you're getting Catalyst, even if you don't kill the boss. I still wouldn't suggest it if you can't kill the boss, but you're making a ton of money just off Catalyst. He has some really good drops that are just in his pool. The linear supports I showed you. These are expensive, guys. I'm not going to lie. Like, you're going to have to pay a lot of money for Bleach Splinters. Maybe not next league, but you know what I mean? Like, if I wanted to run him 20 times, you know, it's a lot of money, right? And again, don't pay the 8. Always pay the other side. Flip it, right? So you can go like this. 2.4, so yeah, you probably want to go a little higher, right? Go like 2.7. You'll be the highest bidder. But yeah, you're still going to pay 236 divs. So again, in the fresh economy, it's not going to be this expensive, but eventually there's a chance it gets that high. But I would buy 20 of these. But again, like I said, if you have the money, you invest the 236, dude, you hit just this, which I'm not going to say you're going to for sure hit, but you're doubling your money, right? You hit a couple of the level 19 lightning bolts. You know what I mean? You're going to make your money back, and then the essences are just consistent money. These ones are really strong. This not worth as much as they used to be. The Reavers are good. Yeah, so you're going to make a lot of money there. I did the same thing with Ritual. I was trying to drop Omens. When nobody was running Rituals, I was running the Pinnacle Boss because I could flood the market with Omens, Whittles, things like that. He drops all of them. Super easy boss to kill. If you're having trouble, put a little Chaos Res on, but like I was pretty much one-tapping him. And you're dropping all these Omens. The Sanctification Omen is really popular.
Can I help?
You know what I mean? So you can just run these bosses. Again, it is an investment, and I used to not want to do that, but it's actually definitely worth it. I ran it like crazy this league, and both those bosses dropped me a ton of money. It was insane. So yeah, then my final tip that I don't think anyone else has talked about is these keys here. So what I'm trying to buy is a Ritual key. So again, these will drop from the boss. 70 divs, that's crazy. But I'm trying to buy one for 130 exalts. I was buying these all league long, easily, consistently, for like 70 exalts to like I said, maybe 150 exalts, maybe. And it was dropping me Ingenuity like every single time. So if you don't know what this thing does, is you can take this key here and you go to your map device. You can throw it in this guy here, and it'll take you to a big chest at the end of the thing, and it will drop you a special belt or a special item from that pool. Here's one here. So here's a 30 for 30 I dropped. I never sold. A 30 for 30 is insane. This would sell at the peak of the league for a disgusting amount of divines. I used it for a long time until I eventually just like, I was just buying different belts for, again, different things. I'm that guy that uses different items for different parts of the game. Like I have an insane pair of quick gloves, like perfect gloves. I just don't even use because I'm just running the rarity on my gloves. I am running have rarity instead. I don't need the damage, but I have the damage. Same thing with my rings. I got some insane rings, insane jewelry. I'll just hover over it. But I don't even use it because I do use it when I map. But if I'm not mapping and I'm doing Pinnacle Bosses, I just use my rarity gear because it's just makes more sense, right? But yeah, anyways, so getting these belts were super easy. The 30 for 30s were making a ton of money. And then outside of that, it's just this uncorrupted, even if it wasn't a 30 for 30, like you're getting a div minimum for it, right? And so like a div was like 320 exalts at the time. I was paying 120 exalts for the key. And then I was just getting this belt that was worth minimum 1 div. And then all the way up to like 100 divs, or like maybe you sell a couple for 10. Again, you're just printing money. So that's the strategy that I have that I don't think a lot of people talked about, or I haven't seen it on YouTube myself, essentially. And you can do that with any of them, right? Like, again, maybe buying these early would be a good strategy. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, even the Zest one might be good. This one, you're not going to be able to afford this league. But maybe in the future league, you'll be able to. Right? It's stupid expensive because of the diamond. But yeah, it's just another way that I think you can make money that's like not talked about as often, that I think is a really good point, or a really good way to try. The regular ones aren't as good. I think the Arbiter one's pretty good. Yeah, decent, right? And again, people are trying to buy these for 50 and then they're probably flipping them or whatever. Anyways, that's pretty much how I made currency in this league. I think that this is a pretty good breakdown for you guys to kind of have some ideas going into the new league, Return of the Agents. If you liked the video or you learned something new, if you would leave a like or subscribe, that would be great. I'm trying something new here. I'm new to content creation, but I am really good at this game, or decently good at this game, and I have a disgusting amount of hours. Like, if I told you how many hours I had, you might, you might pass out. Anyways, that's it for me for today. I am Kev, the mid-tier gamer. If you want to like and subscribe, that would be great, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.